Good afternoon, dear students. Today I am going to start water softening part. This is the portion of the module 4. In the last class, we have studied what is disinfection in detail. In two lectures, I have covered two lectures on disinfection. And now, the next part of this module 4 is that is water softening. So, water softening means what? It is the bringing the making the hard water into soft water. So converting the hard water into soft water. In simple sentence, what you can say. Okay. So water softening. What is water softening? The reduction or removal of hardness from water is known as water softening. So as we know. Okay. The advantage of softening lies chiefly in the reduction of the soap consumption, lowered cost of maintaining plumbing fixtures, and improved taste of food preparations. Hence, whether or not the hardness of water supply should be reduced. So, that means by this paragraph you will understand that the hard water is not good. So, what is the problems of hard water? That is reduction of soap consumption. So, soap, if you use the soap for cleaning the clothes and utensils, you are not getting sufficient foam. So, utensils or clothes will not be sufficiently or very good cleaned. So for that purpose, the hard water is not suitable for the general use. So it also it lowered cost of maintaining a plumbing fixtures. So if the water is this hard water is used, plumbing fixtures will be destroyed. And it also improves if the hard water is used for food preparations, the taste of the food is may not be good. So therefore all these advantages will be there if the hard water is converted to the soft water. So we are always recommended to use the soft water for all purposes. Even for in cement concrete mixing also it is suggested to use the soft water. So importance of soft water is always there in our day-to-day life. So in that connection, water softening is a part of our syllabus. Let us go ahead and see. So how many types of hardnesses are there? This we already studied in previous classes also, previous lectures also. So there are two types of hardness as follows. One is temporary or carbonate hardness here. Okay. And second one is the permanent or non-carbonate hardness. So what is temporary or carbonate hardness? So it is the temporary or carbonate hardness which is caused by the carbonates, and it is carbonates and bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Here it is some misspelling is there, and boiling is added here. That is not. I will correct this one and I will forward you these notes to you also. But today you just understand what is the meaning of this. Temporary or carbonate hardness which is caused by the carbonates or bicarbonates of calcium and magnesium. Okay, and it can be removed by boiling or by adding the lime. So two processes can be used for the removing the temporary hardness. And what is permanent hardness? Permanent hardness is or non-carbonate hardness which is caused by the sulfates, chlorides and nitrates of calcium and magnesium. Okay, softening has to be removed by special methods. Okay, that we shall see. So it may also be recalled here that the permissible hardness of the public water supplies normally ranges between 75 to 115 milligram per liter. Okay. Okay, this is not very important part. Now let us see. Actually, in case of studying the hardness, that is softening, we are giving more emphasis to the permanent hardness. So that is what are the methods of treating the permanent hardness, not the temporary hardness. But still let us have brief idea related to the temporary hardness. Okay, so let us see methods of removing temporary hardness. So there are simple two methods what I have told, that is temporary hardness can be removed either by boiling or by adding lime to the water. Okay, so they are as given below. So what is boiling? What happens in boiling? In boiling, calcium carbonate being only slightly soluble will usually exist in water as a calcium bicarbonate because it easily dissolves in natural water containing carbon dioxide. When such a water is boiled, the carbon dioxide gas will get out, leading to the precipitation of the CaCO3, which can be sedimented out in the settling tank. So it will be removed, CaCO3 can be removed in a precipitation form, which will be deposited at the bottom of the container, at the bottom of the tank. So that means first one is boiling. So boiling is one method for removing the temporary hardness, and second one is addition of lime. So this temporary hardness can be also removed by adding the lime to the water. So lime, that is COA. Lime, generally hydrated lime. What is that lime? Hydrated, that is CaOH is added to the water. So calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide are precipitated and can be removed in the sedimentation tank. Again here calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide will be precipitated once you add the lime to the water. Okay, lime in which form? It is in hydrated form. So lime in hydrated form, if it is mixed with water, added to the water, then calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide are precipitated and they will deposit at the bottom and they can be removed. So once these chemicals are removed, then automatically water will become soft water. Okay, so actually this is we are not giving more emphasis to the temporary hardness. We are giving more emphasis to the permanent hardness. So therefore we will see in detail what are the methods of removing the permanent hardness. Okay, so permanent hardness, see, the permanent hardness is difficult to remove, in fact. Okay, it can however be removed by certain special methods, so generally called water softening methods. So special methods, they are called as water softening methods, and these three methods below: lime soda process, base exchange process, or it is generally called as zeolite process, and third one is demineralization process. So these are the most commonly three methods which are used to convert the hard water into the soft water. Now, out of these three, today I am discussing two methods. One is lime soda process, the first method, and second method, that is zeolite process. Okay, I am discussing bit detail today these two processes. First two methods I am going to discuss today. So first I will discuss lime soda process. So lime soda process is something like this. Okay, what is lime soda process? So here in this process, lime, that is CaOH, and soda ash, that is Na2CO3, is added to the hard water, which reacts with the calcium and magnesium salts so as to form insoluble precipitates of the calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide, MgOH2. These precipitates can be sedimented out in a sedimentation tank. The chemical reactions which may be involved are as follows. So I'll just show you what are the chemical reactions, but before that you just once again go through here. So what is being done in lime soda process? Lime and soda ash is added to the hard water, okay, in a required quantity. And once it is added, what happens? Okay, which reacts with the lime and soda ash, they react with calcium and magnesium salts which is present in water so as to form insoluble precipitates of calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide. So magnesium hydroxide and calcium carbonate, these are main culprits for the hardness, and these two are removed by precipitating. So once the lime and soda ash is added to the water, these calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide will be precipitated, they will settle at the bottom and they will be removed. So let us see, these precipitates can be removed by sedimented out, means they are deposited at the bottom and they will be removed, okay, separately, or otherwise whatever water will be collected above the sedimentation will be removed carefully. So this way the water will be becoming soft water, okay. Now what is the chemical reactions going to be happening? Now these are the different chemicals. There are about 7 chemical reactions which are taking place once the lime and soda ash is added to the hard water, okay. See, now CaHCO3, that is carbonate hardness of Ca, CaHCO3 2 plus CaOH, that is lime. So they react each other and produce CaCO3 and 2H2O. So CaCO3 means what? That is insoluble precipitate of calcium carbonate. CaCO3, the shown by downward arrow. Okay, downward arrow is indicating in this equation that they are precipitate. So they will deposit at the bottom. So precipitation will be indicated by downward arrow here. So CaCO3 means what it is in the equation. CaCO3 is the calcium carbonate. It is insoluble precipitate. Therefore, downward arrow is indicated there. So similarly, MgHCO3, second equation, carbonate hardness, okay, of Mg. Okay, carbonate hardness of magnesium. Mg means magnesium. So carbonate hardness Mg plus CaOH, lime, will be reacting each other and producing CaSCO3 to plus MgOH to precipitate. So again this downward arrow MgOH2 is indicating that this is magnesium hydroxide precipitate. MgOH2 is magnesium hydroxide precipitate which will be deposited at the bottom. So like this CaCO3, that is calcium carbonate, is depositing, okay, in the form of precipitate, and MgOH2 in second equation, that is magnesium hydroxide, is precipitating as a at the bottom of the tank. So like this, these two are removed by reactions. So similarly some other equations are there here. MgCO3, that is carbonate hardness of Mg plus lime, is producing MgOH2 precipitation and CaCO3 precipitation. Here two precipitations are there, that is MgOH2 precipitation in second equation B, you see. Second B equation, MgOH2 precipitation and CaCO3 precipitation. So these are precipitated and they are removed from the water. So like these different equations are given here. Students, you are not expected to remember all the equations. Some few examples you can give. On one example on MgCO3 and one example on CaSCO3 and one example on MgSO4. And if you give, okay, that is enough. 3 to 4 equations if you write in the answers if it is asked. So you are capable of at least remembering 3 to 4 equations here. So that can be easily written one day and that's explained. So from the above reaction, let us come to the next theoretical part, that is from the above reaction, it can be easily seen that lime helps in removing the entire carbonate hardness. So lime is playing a major role over here, which is, okay, removing the entire carbonate hardness, above equations. So that is carbonate hardness caused by Ca as well as that of caused by the Mg. So both are removed, okay, and then it reacts with non-carbonate hardness of Mg to convert the same into the non-carbonate hardness of Ca. The non-carbonate hardness of Ca is finally removed by soda. So this soda will be helping removing the non-carbonate hardness of the Ca and Mg, okay. So why this soda is added? For the purpose of removing the non-carbonate hardness of the Ca, okay. So lime also helps in removing the free dissolved carbon dioxide if and when it exists in a given water as per the reaction number 5. So as per the reaction number 5 means this fifth reaction, CO2 free dissolved, okay, CO2 plus COH lime is again making the CaCO3, that is precipitation, and producing H2O. So this important equation. So this fifth equation is very important, you have to write down, and first 2-3 equations are important. So that equations, if you remember, it is well and good to write down and all those things. The non-carbonate hardness of Ca and finally removes the soda, okay. Soda is also useful in this condition. So all these things I have written here. Once you refer the notes, you will very well understand easily how it is to be done. So sodium salts which are finally formed in the above method are soluble in water. So whatever sodium salt which is formed in the above equations, they are soluble in water. So most of the calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide, please go through the underlined line here. What is that? Underlined line is most of the calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide which is formed get precipitated and can be sedimented out in the sedimentation tank. So these two are more important culprit for the formation of the hardness, that is calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide. These two must be majorly removed. So major hardness of the water will be removed. So that's why I underline this, okay. The amount of the lime and soda required for the softening depends upon the chemical quality of the water and the extent of the hardness removal desired. So equipment required. So now let us see what are the equipment required for the lime soda treatment. So this equipment actually what it contains. The equipment required for the lime soda treatment is similar to that required for the chemical coagulation. So what you see in coagulation we have studied in the third unit, coagulation and sedimentation, okay, flocculation, coagulation. In the same process the equipment works. So equipment required for the lime soda treatment is similar to that required for chemical coagulation. The lime and soda as added to the raw water either separately or together and are well mixed with water. Flocculation and sedimentation will then follow. You just go through the underlined portion. What is the underlined portion here? The feeding, mixing and settling devices used are similar to those which are used in the process of coagulation cum sedimentation. So this feeding, mixing and settling, what you have studied in the third unit in sedimentation, in the same manner this process will go. Okay, that is, once again I'll read the underlined portion. The feeding, mixing and settling devices used are similar to those which are used in the process of coagulation cum sedimentation. However, for obtaining good results, the detention time for settling basin may be kept slightly more than that required in an ordinary coagulation sedimentation basin. So in coagulation and sedimentation basin, whatever the detention time we are using, we have to use little bit more than that of the detention time, okay, here. So that is what it is saying. So generally it may be between 2 to 4 hours. Of course in sedimentation tank also it is same 2 to 4 hours. So here also it is 2 to 4 hours. So detention time is also maintained over here for proper chemical reaction. Okay, the water coming out of the sedimentation tank, so whatever water comes out from the sedimentation tank, okay, will be then passed through the recarbonation plant. So recarbonation plant is provided here. So this recarbonation plant, again what it does, actually recarbonation plant, I'll just show you the figure. See, let us see the figure. So this is the figure where the process can be easily seen. Okay, now you see here the arrows are showing how the water will be being passed. Okay, coke burner, through the coke burner water passes and it goes through the limestone. Okay, cooling water tower is provided over here and limestone, and it goes up again to the excelsior and again come out through the pipe and come down to the and pass through the steel chips. Okay, and again come up and come down, and with the help of compressor the water will be made to pass to the carbonation chamber. You see the carbonation chamber over here. This is the carbonation chamber. So why this water after treating carbonation chamber, water is passed through carbonation chamber? Why? Because recarbonation is required after softening process. Water requires recarbonation process after softening process. So therefore the recarbonation means what actually? In recarbonation what is being done actually? Recarbonation means adding CO2 to water. Okay, what is recarbonation? Adding CO2 to water after softening, because CO2 is added to neutralize the excess hydroxide ion present in the water. So after softening, some excess hydroxide ions will be present in water. Those must be neutralized. So to neutralize them, the CO2 is added. That is recarbonation. It also helps in reducing alkalinity of the water. So recarbonation also will help in reducing the alkalinity of the water. So this figure is very simple. It is not be drawn if it is asked, but simply for your understanding I have shown this figure. Okay. So recarbonation, you understood what is recarbonation. So after softening process, soft water is once again passed through the recarbonation chamber to remove the excess hydroxide ions. That is called recarbonation. Okay, that is what I had told. Okay, now let us come to the next theoretical part. So effluent from the recarbonation plants are finally passed. Again after recarbonation, effluent means that is water. here in this case water. Effluents from the recarbonation plant are finally passed through a rapid gravity filter. Again it is rapid gravity filter. So water is again passed through rapid gravity filter. So you know that what is the rapid gravity filter we have discussed in the third module only. Okay, in case of the filtration. So okay, in case of filtration of water we have discussed gravity filter. So there were slow sand filter and rapid gravity filter. So here once again this water after softening it is passed through the rapid gravity filter. And sometimes alum is also added to the water, lime soda along with. Okay, so alum is sometimes added with the lime and soda to combine chemical coagulation and water softening into a single process. So to hasten the coagulation and chemical treatment, the alum is also sometimes added. Okay, it is not every time. So now let us come to the next part. What is the advantage of lime soda process? So these are the some advantages of lime soda process. Let us go through. I will read one by one. Number one is the process is economical. It is very economical compared to other processes. Okay. Second one, it can be easily combined with the usual water treatment methods without much extra trouble or cost. The second advantage. And third one is when lime and soda are added in addition to the coagulants during the process of the softening cum coagulation, lesser quantity of coagulant is generally required. So in lime and soda as treatment, so lesser quantity of coagulant is generally required. So lesser quantity of coagulant means in this case what type of coagulant is added? Alum. Alum is added as a coagulant. So this alum also requires very less quantity. So that is one thing if at all is required. And fourth advantage, what is the fourth one? This treatment leads to an increase in pH value of water, thus reducing the corrosion of the distribution pipes. So pH value, if pH value is increased, water will be alkaline. So alkaline water will be good for the all purposes, for drinking purposes and for using in factories, pipes, distribution of water, all such things. Okay, so whatever pipes and the media we are using, those should not be corroded. So fourth is very important. Okay, and that is the treatment leads to an increase in pH value of water, thus reducing the corrosion of the distribution pipes. So that is one advantage and major advantage. And fifth one is increased causticity may also sometimes help in killing pathogenic bacteria. So increased causticity. So by adding soda ash, what we are using soda ash, that is causticity. It increases the causticity. So that will kill up to certain extent the pathogenic bacteria. So that is one added advantage, very important advantage. So these are all important advantages. And sixth advantage, what is that? Let us see. Sixth one you see. This treatment helps in reducing the total mineral content of water. So total mineral content of water is reduced. Okay, which are mineral means again the hardness, isn't it? Hardness is caused by the salts and minerals only, no? That's all. And sixth one, it helps in removing iron and manganese from water, although only a certain extent. Okay, to a certain extent. See, manganese and iron content should be within limit. So this will also help in removing the excess iron and manganese from the water. Okay, but up to certain extent, for a little quantity it will be helping. So like this, there are 7 advantages of the lime soda processes. Now there are some disadvantages also. What are the disadvantages? Let us see. So first one is a large quantity of sludge is formed in process. So this is one major disadvantage. Sludge means the precipitation will be deposited at the bottom, isn't it? I have discussed last time only. That is CaCO3, that is insoluble precipitate of calcium carbonate and insoluble precipitate of magnesium hydroxide will be deposited in a large quantity. So that is called the large quantity of sludge. That precipitation itself is called here as sludge. So first one is large quantity of sludge is formed in the process, which must be disposed of. So which must be disposed of by some suitable method. This sludge may be discharged into sewers or may sometimes be used for raising low-lying area after drying. So they will be disposed of, but anyway, the quantity of the sludge formation due to the calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide will be more. That is one small disadvantage, but this disadvantage can be overcome. It here itself is written, this disadvantage can be overcome by, okay, by using it as a rising of low lying areas after drying. So these can be removed outside, they will be allowed to dry. After drying, they can be used to fill the low lying area. Okay, rising means fill up. So wherever ditches are there, trenches are there, that can be filled up. For other purpose they can use. That is recycling of this waste, you can say. Okay. And second one, let us see what is second one. Careful operation and skilled supervision is required in order to get good results. So careful operation. So at every stage one must be careful. Proper operation, proper mixing. So what are different mixing, sedimentation, flocculation will be carried out here also. So at every stage careful operation is to be done. And for purpose of careful operation, skilled supervision is required. So that means well trained and skilled laborers or supervisors must be there. This is one disadvantage. And third one, incrustation of the pipe walls of the distribution system will take place. So incrustation means it is also somewhat rusting type. Rusting is different and incrustation. So the inside wall of the pipe, some hard material will be deposited, thereby reducing the cross section of the pipe. Do you understand? What is incrustation? Incrustation means some deposition inside the pipe, inside wall of the pipe. So that will be major problem here in this case. So that is called incrustation. Okay, see, it is something different from corrosion. Corrosion is different, that is brownish water. Incrustation is some boil type or bubble type formation will be made inside the pipe of the wall. Okay, incrustation. You can search out and understand what is incrustation. If you make a Google search incrustation, what is meant by incrustation, you will find literature as well as some photos of the, for an example. Okay, photos, figures you will find in detail. Okay. And fourth disadvantage is this process cannot help in producing waters of zero hardness. So hardness will not become completely zero. But as we know, up to certain extent hardness is tolerable. Okay, so up to certain extent hardness is tolerable. So therefore this lime and soda, okay, treatment is always good for the what you call what is called as first process of the lime soda. Now let us see zeolite process. Second method let us discuss. Zeolite or base exchange or cation exchange process. So zeolites are the natural salts or clays which are hydrated silicates of sodium and aluminum. These are having the general formula as Na2O Al2O3. So general formula is Na2O and Al2O3. Naturally occurring zeolite like substance can also be manufactured synthetic and they are known as reagents. So artificial zeolite also can be manufactured. What does it mean is artificial zeolite can be manufactured, synthetic zeolite. So they are also known as reagents. So artificial or synthetic zeolite is called as reagents. So these reagents are available in the market. The common synthetic reagent is a white colored substance. They are called as permutate. So these reagents are also called as permutate. And the zeolites or reagents have the excellent property of exchanging their cations. Okay, so they are having excellent property of exchanging their cations. So this is the advantage of zeolite. So what happens during softening operation? You just see the underlined portion. During softening operation, the sodium ions of the zeolite get replaced by the calcium and magnesium ions present in hard water. So what happens? Once again I will read it. During softening operation, the sodium ions of the zeolite get replaced by the calcium and magnesium ions present in hard water. So this is the major process goes on in zeolite process. So calcium and magnesium zeolite can be regenerated into the active sodium zeolite by treating it with 5 to 10% solution of the sodium chloride. So a zeolite softener, well, let us come to that. next part that is important. Zeolite softener resembles a sand filter. What it is just like a sand filter, in which the filtering medium is zeolite rather than sand. So sand filter we already studied in the third unit. Once again I will come to that. So third unit in sedimentation we have studied the sedimentation and filtration. So in filtration part we have studied the sand filter. So in sand filter the sand was being used. In here in place of sand zeolite is used. That's all. What is it in here? Zeolite softener. Okay, it is not. It is just like a zeolite softener. So next para let us see. The hard water enters through the top and is eventually distributed on the entire zeolite bed. The softened water is collected through the strainers at the base. So it's just similar. From the top, hard water is passed through the zeolite bed. Okay. So I think I will better show you the figure so that you will understand. This is the figure. Okay. So this one is figure of zeolite setup. So a sectional view for the zeolite setup. So hard water is made to pass through. Just see here in the figure. From left end, hard water is allowed to go into the tank. So it is distributed inside. So here a brine distribution is provided over here, and then zeolite. This hatched portion is called as zeolite or cation exchange resin. So zeolite is there. So in place of sand, zeolite is provided, and this zeolite will be through which zeolite the water is being passed and it is collected at the bottom. So at the bottom you see strainers are provided. So water collecting system is provided here. So through the left side the arrow is shown. From that water is allowed to taken out. Okay, filter water outlet is provided at the left side bottom. So this is a simple sketch. You can remember this sketch also. So in zeolite process you have to explain with this sketch. It is always good. Okay, so brine distribution is there. Hydraulic injector is provided over here, and zeolite is provided. Base is, so hydraulic injector for the brine distribution, hydraulic injector is provided. For distribution brine, the hydraulic injector. So water is allowed to go from left side, and filtered water is collected from the bottom. So this one is the important part of this zeolite process. So hard water enters through the top and eventually distributed on the entire zeolite bed. The softened water is collected through the strainers at the base. When the significant portion of the sodium in zeolite has been replaced by calcium and magnesium, it is regenerated by first washing it water by the reversing flow and then treating it with 10% solution of the brine. So brine is just washing purpose it is used. Okay. The excess brine solution retained in the zeolite after the treatment is removed by again washing it with good water. Okay. But anyway, briefly I am just I am not reading everything in detail, because in future I will send you these notes. Okay. So you shall go through in detail, but I am just reading the only important points. So zeolite softeners may be either gravity or pressure filters. These may be either gravity or pressure filters. Pressure filter type zeolite softeners such as shown in figure. So just now what I have shown, that is a pressure filter type zeolite softener. So this one is pressure filter type zeolite softener. So remember this. So by using this zeolite, it can be hard water can be softened. So the zeolite process will result in a water of zero hardness. One advantage here as compared to the lime soda, this one is producing better, that is zero hardness. Whereas lime soda was not producing zero hardness, here zeolite process is producing zero hardness. This is the difference between lime soda process and zeolite process. Okay, therefore only a portion of the water passing through the treatment plant is to be softened and then mixed with the non-softened water to obtain the desired water quality, because we don't need zero hardness. Actually zero hardness what is not good. There must be some sort of hardness in the water, some part of the hardness. So limit is given 50 unit, okay, 50 milligram per liter or 100. So in the first, initially only I have just discussed that 115 milligram per liter hardness is allowed. Okay. So advantages of zeolite method. First one, water of zero hardness can be obtained and hence useful for specific uses in textile industries, boilers, etc. So For boilers and industries, this zero hardness water is most useful. Okay, so that is one advantage. Second one is this plant is compact, automatic, and easy to operate. Here, just it is unlike the lime soda process. In lime soda process, skilled labor were required. Okay, skill supervision and strict supervision is required. But here, the plant is compact and it is automatic and easy to operate. Okay, that is one advantage here compared to the lime soda process. And third advantage, no sludge is formed, whereas in lime soda process there was a huge quantity of more quantity of sludge was formed at the bottom. Here there is no sludge is formed. Okay, so there is no problem of sludge disposal here. And let us see the fourth advantage. Fourth advantage, that is RMO, that is running maintenance and operation cost is quite less compared to the lime soda process. This all is compared with lime soda process. Okay. Fifth one is it removes ferrous iron and manganese from water. Of course, this also removes the ferrous iron and manganese. So even in lime soda process also it was removing the iron and the manganese. Okay. So sixth advantage, there is no difficulty in treating water of varying quality. So if the water is of varying quality, so there is no difficulty in treating of water. Whereas in lime soda, the water quality must be prior to treatment. It is checked and confirmed. What is the water quality? What is the rate of hardness? Here, whatever may be the rate of hardness, the treatment can be done. Okay. So there is no difficulty in treating water of varying quality. So whatever water, hard water you supply, if the hard water is having different varying in its quality, then there is no problem with this process. So seventh one, there is no problem of incrustation of pipes. So I had told incrustation in the last class only. In the previous part only I have discussed. Incrustation means the formation of some layer inside the pipe. So that incrustation is not provided occurred here. So there is no problem of incrustation of pipes of the distribution system, as is there is no lime soda process. So because of lime soda process, incrustation problem takes place. But in zeolite, as there is no lime soda, so incrustation will not be there. So disadvantages. Let us see what is the last part, the disadvantages of the zeolite process. This process is not suitable for treating highly turbid water. So if water is highly turbid, it is not suitable. Whereas lime soda process will maintain or sustain the highly turbid water. Okay. So first, what is that? This process is not suitable for treating highly turbid water because the suspended impurities get deposited around the zeolite particles and thus cause obstruction to working of the zeolite. So that is major disadvantage. Second one is the process leaves sodium bicarbonate in water, which cause priming and foaming in industrial or boiler feed water. So this process leaves sodium bicarbonate in water. So, and third one is the zeolite process is costlier and unsuitable for treating waters containing iron and manganese. So if the water is containing more iron and manganese, then this process becomes costlier. And if the iron and manganese are not containing much, then this process becomes cheaper. So there is some subsequences, isn't it? So these are the only three major disadvantages of the zeolite process. With this, I think two things I have covered, that is what is the lime soda process and zeolite process I have covered. And next, the third method I will cover in the next class, tomorrow's class. Dear students, I hope you understood this. It is fully theoretical and some chemical equations are there, but interesting to know. So please make it to understand, and in next class I will take the next part. So with this I will conclude my session here, and very much thankful for listening carefully.